Juneteenth, special edition of Morning Manna. This morning I'm talking about the trauma of slavery. This morning is the trauma of slavery. Yesterday I was talking about reparations, 40 acres and a mule. And tomorrow I'm going to continue the conversation about Juneteenth. Now, you said, Bishop, that was yesterday. No, that's our problem. We tend to, especially in social media, we hit it and quit it. That was what was on yesterday. That was the big thing yesterday. Juneteenth is something that we need to have a conversation about on an ongoing basis. So for Morning Manna, I'm going to press through this whole week, giving you nuggets about Juneteenth, the impact, and where we are today. This morning is all about the trauma of slavery. Put that in the chat area. Welcome, everybody. Good morning, Verena. Good morning, Anna. Good morning, Angela. How are you all on this morning? What an excellent morning it is. Got a word, of course, I'm going to share with you. 5 minutes or less. Text Talk and the Takeaway, talking about Juneteenth, the trauma of slavery. Yesterday, I dealt with reparations, 40 acres and a mule. Today, I'm dealing with the trauma of slavery. Tomorrow, I'm going to talk about the new Reconstruction, and then I'm going to move into apology accepted. Oh, it's going to be good all week long. Don't miss it. Make sure you share it. Good morning, Brenda. How are you? Anitra, how are you on this morning? Pamela, how are you? Hey, let's get right into the word this morning. This morning, special edition of Morning Manna, the trauma of slavery. Juneteenth, the trauma of slavery. The text, to talk, the takeaway. That's what I'm going to share. Please share it if it blesses you. Bless somebody else. Put your comments in the chat area. Psalms 107:13. Psalms 107:13. Then they cried to the Lord in their trouble, and the Lord delivered them from all of their distresses. Then they cried to the Lord in their trouble, and the Lord delivered them from their distresses. 400 years of bondage under the rule of Pharaoh, then being oppressed and taken into captivity by Babylonians, being attacked by the Philistines and the Syrians. On every side, looked like the children of Israel were always having traumatic situations. The psalmist comes in and says, look, cry to the Lord, he will deliver you. And he does. But that's not the point I want to make this morning. What you see is what you see then is what you see now, is a generation of trauma in the life of the nation of Israel. Now, what I find that is so, amazing is that we can read those traumatic experiences in the life of the nation of Israel and acknowledge that it is true. But when it comes to the trauma of slavery of African Americans, all of a sudden, we want you, or people want us to say, that was then, this is now, get over it. Well, I'm going to talk more about that later this week, but I need you to grab a hold of something. Trauma is real. Trauma is real, and a recent study, scientific study, says that trauma can be passed down through generations. That trauma, the impact of a traumatic situation in your life, find its way in your DNA, find its way in your makeup, and then can be passed down both genetically as well as emotionally to the next generation. The second thing I want to share with you is PTSD, post-traumatic stress syndrome, is real. And as a result of that, there are triggers that go along with that. Now, we look at it now and we accept it from a behavioral point of view, a behavioral science point of view, because when we look at those who served in the military, on the front lines of battle or what have you, say that they deal now with post-traumatic stress syndrome, looking at death all around them, being near explosive ordinances, all of those kinds of things cause a PTSD. And therefore, along with that goes triggers. We know that to be real. Well, if trauma can be passed along, and we know that that is a part of that, then there are triggers. African Americans, we have some triggers, baby. I'm trying to tell you, when it when it seems like, oh, that should be something we should have gotten over, something that we should have dealt with, no, that's a trigger. When you follow me around the store, that's a trigger. When you grab your purse in the elevator, that's a trigger. When you move away, and we have this with each other as well, that's a trigger. It's real. Trauma is passed down through generations. PTSD is real. Here's the third thing. Approximately 157 years. 157 years. I want you to get that. I want you to put that in the chat area. Why is that important? That is hence slavery. Just 157 years, if I got my math right. I mean, think about it. 1865, 2022, that's just about 3 generations. The generations, according to scripture, is 40 years. So if that's just a couple, 3 generations ago, don't press me trying to tell me that that was yesterday. Yeah. I did my background, if you will, and went back into my slave history and found the grave of the person who owned my family on my mother's side, to see that person's picture and to see his name, Theophilus. Theophilus. If you're a biblical scholar, you read the word, you already know that that's a biblical name found in the book of Luke. This is ode to Theophilus. And you think about it. How does this person have the gall, his parents, to name him from a biblical name, and he owned slaves? All kinds of things went through me when I looked at his picture, looked at his gravestone, and knew his name. Just 157 years ago. What's your takeaway this morning? Trauma is still impacting African Americans. Trauma is still impacting African Americans, and you better know it. The trauma of slavery is real. Oh, I'm going to have more tomorrow as we walk through this Juneteenth week. I don't want us to just talk about it, grill and chill on Monday. We need to make it a part of our lexicon and a part of our culture. If this bless you, bless somebody else, share the manna. Don't keep it to yourself. Don't be greedy. The Lord bless you. May his face shine upon you, give you peace. I'll see you tomorrow morning with more Morning Manna. God bless you. Bye now.